Hello, my friend. Welcome back to my channel. This is the next edition of Coffee and News with Dr. Barry. I did this once before and got tons of positive feedback. And so, what we're going to do is, as I go through the morning's news articles, I read probably 100 articles every morning, plus research studies while drinking my morning coffee. We're going to go through some of this together, and I'm going to show you the good, the bad, the ugly, and the completely ignorant things that get printed in mainstream media. So first up, we're going to take a look at this. Let me move myself over to the side a little so you can see. This is from the Bangor, Maine newspaper. Yeah, I read widely and deeply. The trendy pet food diet is bad for your dog's health. What could they possibly be talking about? Some new thing that we're feeding pets now that they never ate in the past? No, actually, the exact opposite of that. So, this is about feeding your dog or cat raw meat and how dangerous that is. So, they say between 15 and 40,000 years ago, wolves and dogs split into their own species. Uh, I, I think that there are animal biologists who would argue with that statement. They did split probably 10 to 20,000 years ago, and they are now considered a distinct species. But if you look microscopically at the gut of any dog, from a Chihuahua to a German Shepherd, microscopically, histologically, at their gut, from their lips to the other end, you cannot tell a difference between them and a wild coyote or a wild wolf in the wild today. The histology, the physiology of their gastrointestinal system is exactly the same. I defy anybody to prove me wrong on that. So they're saying that a typical raw meat recipe for these will be meat, organs, bones. That's exactly what dogs and cats love. There's this new thing they're doing now, which is called green tripe. Now, this is basically the guts of the animal, the stomach, and the sometimes the contents. Now, being a Southern boy, growing up hunting, when we would clean squirrels, rabbits, deer, literally the gastrointestinal system of the animal being cleaned was the first thing that our dogs went for. We fed all that to the dogs. They loved it. They love the guts of the animal almost more than they love the meat and the bones. And so, yeah, this is not some new thing. Now, it's being actually sold by companies now, and that's what's raised the ire of all these people. Green tripe is the raw, unwashed, and unprocessed lining from a cow, pig, or a cow stomach. Yeah. And if ever processed an animal on your farm or a wild animal that you killed and had dogs around, that's the thing they went for first because I guess they're stupid and don't know better, or no, maybe that's an ancestral food. Raw foods being marketed as far superior. Yeah, I think raw meat and raw bones and raw stomach tripe. I think that's exactly what dogs need to eat. And so they get the opinion from a couple of researchers, and they say as domestic dogs have become more specialized over time, so did their nutritional needs. No, their gastrointestinal system has not changed one jot in the last 15,000 years. It is exactly the same gastrointestinal system, same stomach pH, same cells lining the GI system. This is foolishness. If you want to slowly convert your dog or cat to a raw meat, bone, tripe diet, I highly encourage you to do that. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a veterinarian. Also, they didn't actually quote any veterinarians in this article. Okay, next article. This is from Medical News Today. Eczema. Too much sodium may increase the risk of atopic dermatitis. Now, keep in mind, one of the main things I've taught you, hopefully, is that may, see it in the title right there? No, stop that. See that? May equals may not. So this article could have been titled Eczema, too much sodium may not increase atopic dermatitis risk. And so they go on to say that 32 million people have some form of dermatitis. A new study links excess sodium intake with the development, activation, and intensifying of atopic dermatitis or eczema. So anybody with eczema, if you read the title and then read these bullets at the top, you'd be like, crap, I've got eczema. I need to cut down on sodium, right? Well, let's look at the actual research that they cite for this. So here's the research study published in JAMA Dermatology, published in 24. So it's a new article, but is it new research? Let's see. Here, the design, setting, and participants. This cross-sectional study of adult participants from the UK Biobank, wait, that was a study that was done years ago, examined 24-hour urine sodium excretion, which was estimated, look at this, which was estimated using a single spot urine sample collected between 2006 and 2010. This is epidemiological research that was performed back a decade and a half ago. And they came up with the number they're using from a single spot urine sample, a one-time urine sample. And based on that, they say you get the title of this article. That's foolishness. This is not helpful at all. This is going to mislead anybody with eczema to think, oh, I need to cut back on sodium. Sodium is essential for proper human function and optimal human health. Okay, if you have eczema, you do not need to cut back on sodium. Next article. This is a good one in the Daily Mail from the UK. Trendy carnivore diet can give you scurvy, heart disease, and even a form of cancer, nurse warns. So experts are warning that the ultra popular carnivore diet may lead to heart disease, the ancient sailor disease, scurvy, and even colorectal cancer. It's very popular. That's right. And the reason it's popular is because so many people are improving their health by eating that way. Now, here's the expert that they quoted, Jane Clark. She is a bowel nurse. So they didn't have a gastroenterologist or a family doctor or anybody who actually takes care of patients as a provider. It was a bowel nurse. She warned that this strips away vital nutrients like vitamin C and fiber. Vitamin C is in meat. Lots of vitamin C is in liver. Fiber is not an essential nutrient. Now, this is funny because you guys have all heard about the turbo cancers and you've heard about younger people developing colon cancer. What the younger people that you know, what diet do they eat typically? It's a plant-based diet, right? Recent studies have shown that the lack of fiber could be responsible for rising cases of colorectal cancer in young people. As the nutrient, fiber's never been shown to be a nutrient, found in carbs stops nasty toxins from festering in the digestive tract. No, fiber irritates the digestive tract. Okay, it actually causes inflammation in the digestive tract. Young people are not eating a low fiber diet. Every single thing they put in their mouth has either naturally occurring fiber or added fiber. This is foolishness. Okay, they go on. Of course, now they don't. The picture they choose is not a picture of me, a family physician, or Sean Baker, an orthopedic surgeon, or Anthony Chafee, very fit medical doctor. They show Liver King, of course, because that's going to get the clicks and that's going to leave the negative taste in your mouth about the carnivore diet that they seem to be interested in leaving. So let's see, there's one other thing in here. Where is that at? Yeah, it's based, the carnivore diet's based on the belief that our ancestors thousands of years ago lived just off meat. So anthropological and paleoanthropological literature make it very clear. This is not a belief. This is actually in the scientific literature that humans were super carnivores. 70% of their food came from animal sources. If you go back more than 12,000 years ago, you are hard pressed to find a society or a tribe or a culture or a group of people who ate a plant-based diet. It just didn't happen. You would starve to death and die more than 12,000 years ago. Only after we invented farming and perfected agriculture were you able to live off that. Carbs get a bad rap, as some refined versions that, like white bread, don't keep us full for long. However, they are the body's main source of energy. This has been completely disproven. Every tissue in the human body, when tested, actually runs better on ketones than it does on glucose, more efficiently and better. So again, full of misinformation, confusing, trying to absolutely be inflammatory. Like, you don't want to be like a liver king. You need to eat a plant-based diet. Come on, folks. Next article. This is published in CNET, which is typically a website viewed by millions of people about tech, about computers and cell phones and stuff like that. But for some reason, they thought they needed to write a nutrition article. 6 natural sugar options for enjoying sweet summer treats. So a sugar option would imply that it's an option that's not sugar, right? Yeah. And so now, then in the subtitle, it says, well, monitor your refined sugar intake. So let's talk about this. So, first thing you need to know is sugar, table sugar, added sugar. High fructose corn syrup comes from corn, which is natural, grows in the dirt, right? Table sugar comes from sugar beets or sugar cane. Again, that's a natural source of sugar. So these are not artificially created chemical substances. They come from nature. They're just sugar, and too much sugar makes humans unhealthy. But let's see what their alternatives are. Number one, of course, is honey. Now, let's talk about honey. Is honey sugar? Yes, honey is pure sugar. If you take out the water, honey is 95%, if not more, sugar. There's a tiny amount of vitamins, a tiny amount of minerals. There might be some other compounds in there that perhaps might give you a benefit. Honey is literally pure sugar. Now, high fructose corn syrup gets a bad rap because it's 55% fructose, whereas sucrose, table sugar, is only 50% fructose. Well, honey has a higher fructose concentration than high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is what they use to sweeten Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola and Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew with, because it's cheaper and it tastes sweeter. Honey has more fructose than high fructose corn syrup. Honey's natural, yes, it's bee vomit. It comes from nature. But every other form of sugar that they're trying to get you to avoid is also natural. Next is maple syrup. It's the sap that comes out of a maple tree. Yes, it is natural, just like sugar beets and sugar cane and corn. It's just as natural. It is also pure sugar. If you take out the water, it is pure sugar, and also has a much higher fructose concentration than high fructose corn syrup. How's that an alternative to sugar? So they're saying, don't eat this sugar, eat this other sugar that's actually higher in fructose. Now, their next option is stevia, which I agree. I think, yes, you should replace all sugar with stevia, and then you should start to slowly wean down the amount of stevia, just in case some of the inflammatory scare articles you've read are true about stevia. Definitely stop the sugar, but use stevia temporarily as a bridge to kind of transition until ultimately you're not putting anything sweet in your mouth at all. Next is pureed fruits. Pureed fruits are just ground up fruits, right? The word fructose, fruc, comes from fruit. See how they sort of rhyme? Pureed fruits, if you take out the water content, again, is predominantly sugar with a little bit of fiber. It has a much higher fructose concentration than high fructose corn syrup. But it's an alternative to sugar. It's actually a worse sugar. I would rather you eat table sugar or sweeten with table sugar than I would you sweeten with honey or maple syrup or pureed fruits. Table sugar is the healthier option if that's all you had to choose from. Monk fruit, again, I agree. Monk fruit's a great replacement for sugar. It's a great replacement for honey and maple syrup and pureed fruit as well. Use monk fruit and then start to wean it down after you've completely broken your sugar habit. Fruit juice is their final option. Fruit juice is higher in fructose than high fructose corn syrup. The only difference between fruit juice and a Coca-Cola is that fruit juice has a tiny amount of vitamin C and a tiny amount of vitamins and minerals. Otherwise, it's exactly the same as Coca-Cola. If you took a Coca-Cola and opened it and sprinkled in a few tiny amount of vitamins, minerals, and a little bit of vitamin C, That's literally orange juice at that point. Or fruit juice is sugar, and it has a higher fructose percentage than high fructose corn syrup used to sweeten Coca-Cola. Stupid article. Why would CNET even want to talk about that? Now, next, this is the winner for the day. I saved the best for last. This is in Prevention Magazine, who I used to have a lot of respect for, but after publishing trash like this, it makes you wonder, should you just cancel your prevention subscription? Okay, here we go. Eating pomegranates may improve memory and help treat Alzheimer's disease, study finds. So pomegranates. Now, if you just read that title and you were starting to get forgetful, what would you do next time you went to the grocery store? You buy some pomegranates, right? Experts explain how urolithin A, a substance found in pomegranates, may boost brain health. So let's highlight this. Urolithin a substance found in pomegranates. Remember that. This is going to become important in just a minute. Okay? So here's the article. Again, they say a substance found in pomegranates known as urolithin A may improve memory. So at least they say may, which equals may not. Research has found that urolithin A enhances the body's ability to get rid of damaged cells, allowing for healthy cells to be produced. Okay, gotcha. Now, so here's the study that they're basing this article on. This is a study from 2024, very recent study. But now let's go down to the methods section. This is a study that they did in a genetically mutated mouse. This is a mouse study, not a human study. And they treated them not with pomegranates, but with urolithin A. Now, they said in the article that urolithin A is found in pomegranates, right? Said it twice. But what I'm about to show you might leave your jaw dropped. But so basically they gave these genetically mutated mice a mega dose of urolithin A. And so your question will be, well, how many pomegranates would I have to eat a day to get that much urolithin A? The answer is an infinite amount of pomegranates. Literally every pomegranate on earth, you'd have to eat that much a day, because I asked ChatGPT how much urolithin A occurs in one pomegranate. ChatGPT dutifully said urolithin A is not directly found in pomegranates. Instead, it is a metabolite of a couple of different compounds found in pomegranates that then perhaps your gut microbiome can turn into urolithin A. However, there are individual differences in how effective your gut is for doing that. There's no urolithin A in a pomegranate. None. Zero. Even though they say, this is Prevention Magazine, guys, urolithin A substance found in pomegranates. Let's go back to ChatGPT. Urolithin A is not directly found in pomegranates. Prevention Magazine, with all due respect, what the hell are you doing? Now, they say that this article was fact-checked. Where's that at? I've lost it. But a registered dietitian fact-checked this. And even though there is no urolithin A in a pomegranate, it was fact-checked. That said, oh, yes, this is all correct. This is the kind of mainstream media that you need to watch out for. And the problem is, as I've shown you in this brief video, this misinformation is everywhere. From Prevention Magazine to CNET to Daily Mail, this is everywhere. It's almost as if all these websites and newspapers receive so much advertising dollars from ultra-processed food companies that their business model is to sell you carbohydrates, basically, sugar. It's almost as if their job is to mislead you, or maybe not to directly mislead you, except in the case of the Prevention Magazine that just flat out lied about there being urolithin A in pomegranates. Flat out lie, made up bullshit. But some of them, I think their goal is just to confuse you so utterly that you're just like, who the hell knows? I'm just going to eat what I want to eat. That's a victory for them, because they know that if you say, screw it, I'm just going to eat whatever tastes good, that's going to be their ultra processed food that they're selling for a profit. That's what you're going to wind up eating. because it's easy, it's convenient, it's got a 2-year shelf life, it never goes bad. You could literally find a pack of it under your car seat that you left there last year. It's still edible because no bacteria is going to eat it. Bacteria are too smart for that. They don't want your dogs to eat a proper canine diet. They want them to eat kibble. It actually says that in the article. You can look it up. So that's this edition of Coffee and News with Dr. Berry. If you enjoyed this, then please hit the subscribe button. Please share this on your social media, because I promise you, all your friends and family members, your acquaintances, when they see these articles, they read the title and maybe the first 2 paragraphs and go, so I need to cut down on sodium, eat more pomegranates. I need to buy kibble for my dog instead of feeding them meat. And also, everybody who eats a carnivore diet looks just like a Liver King and acts just like Liver King. That's the take-home message. So when you share this video and they see my take on these articles, maybe it will help them wake up. This is Dr. Berry. See you next time.